A jury has delivered guilty verdicts in what prosecutors call the largest pandemic fraud case in U.S. history. After just hours of deliberation, the jury found Aimee Bock, founder of Feeding Our Future, and Salim Saeed, owner of Safari Restaurant, guilty on multiple counts, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit federal programs bribery. Prosecutors say the two exploited federal meal programs, funneling tens of millions of dollars meant for hungry children into their own pockets. Saeed's restaurant, Safari, received more than $16 million in fraudulent funds. Prosecutors say he and Bock fabricated meal counts, falsified rosters, and submitted fake invoices to collect federal reimbursements. During closing arguments, Assistant U.S. Attorney Harry Jacobs told jurors, "They worked together every step of the way to carry out this fraud scheme, and they both got rich doing it."
Ms. Bock and Mr. Saeed committed a fraud of epic proportions. While everyone else was trying to flatten the curve during the pandemic, they were trying to fatten their wallets. This was not just greed, it was a betrayal of the very children these programs were meant to serve. The federal food program is about making meals, not millionaires. Please trust your common sense in evaluating the evidence presented and hold them accountable.
Bock's defense attorney, Kenneth Bock, argued that his client had no knowledge of fraud, saying, "This case is about meal counts. You cannot hold Ms. Bock responsible for someone else's actions. She followed the rules as written."
This entire case hinges on numbers, meal counts, attendance sheets, and reimbursement claims. The prosecution wants you to believe that Aimee Bock masterminded a fraudulent empire, but the evidence tells a different story. Ms. Bock was operating within the structure of the program as it was designed. She reviewed applications, she submitted reimbursement requests, and she ensured compliance to the best of her ability. What she did not do, what the government has failed to prove, is knowingly commit fraud.
Saeed's attorney, Adrian Montez, insisted that his client's business was legitimate and accused the government of unfairly targeting him. They've taken a broad case of fraud and unfairly applied it to Mr. Saeed.
The prosecution paints Safari Restaurant as a criminal hub, a fraud factory. But let's talk about what Safari really was. It was a restaurant serving real food to real people in real need. Thousands of meals that were prepared and distributed at a time when the world was in crisis. Yes, there were bad actors in this program. But does it mean that just because fraud happened somewhere, it must have happened at Safari too? The prosecution wants you to believe that my client was a willing participant in this conspiracy. But what have they given you? Assumptions. Guilt by association.
Before closing arguments, prosecutors questioned Saeed's extravagant spending, including real estate, designer clothing, and luxury goods. He did not deny the purchases, but maintained the money was earned legally. Bock and Saeed are just 2 of 70 individuals charged in this massive fraud case. More than 30 others have pleaded guilty, while 5 have already been convicted. Both now face decades in prison as they await sentencing. We'll continue following this case and bring you the latest updates. Subscribe to our channel for more breaking news as it happens.
Disclaimer. The following animation is an AI-generated representation of courtroom artist sketches. The depicted scenes are based on publicly available information, and the quotes included are not verbatim, but have been adapted from statements reported in news articles. This content is intended for illustrative and informational purposes only.